Hello, everybody. My name is Ivan Rutnik, and I am representing MIT Chile Club, a student-run organization at MIT. The club's purpose is to create a sense of community between the Chilean students, partners, and professors at MIT, so its members can represent Chile in MIT and promote MIT in Chile. We intend to help our members to create personal network connections that will last and will create value for Chile in the long term. I believe that as a club, we share the same values with the members of ChileMass. They, through their day-to-day work, and specifically through this event, ChileMass Innovation Day, are fostering collaboration between Chile and the state of Massachusetts, partnership that is beneficial to both parties. In particular, this conference aims to promote cooperation in the development of clean technologies in the industries of energy, mining, water utilities, among others. One of the key questions here is how can we encourage partnership among entities in Chile and Massachusetts that can lead both states to a greener and sustainable future? Now, I would like to welcome to the stage to our first keynote speaker, Petar Ostojic. Petar is a mechanical engineer, CEO at Neptuno Pumps, founder of the Center of Innovation and Circular Economy, UNIDO consultant, high-impact entrepreneur and endeavor, and among many distinctions and awards, he was recognized by the World Economic Forum as the first promoter of circular economy in Latin America. Please give Petar a round of applause.
Hello, do you hear me? Thank you. I need there. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I will try to show you why we call the intersection of advanced manufacturing and clean technologies circular economy, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. Please, let's keep the conversation through social media. But I want to start with a little story. I belong to a great group of entrepreneurs called Endeavor, and every year we go to different places in Chile to discuss and to share. And 2 years ago, we went to Easter Island, now known as Rapa Nui, and they invited me there to give a small presentation on circular economy. And I started to read more about our island and learn some really interesting facts. If you see the similarities between an island and our planet, you see that they are quite the same. They have boundaries, they have natural resources, and they have population. And one interesting thing happened when the first Dutch explorers arrived in 1722. They found an island that was absolutely exploited with no natural resources. The soil was absolutely eroded. But worst of all, the population was almost disappearing. And if you read this great book from Jared Diamond called Collapse, he asked himself, what was the person that chopped off the last tree thinking? How he couldn't tell what was going on? And also the metaphor is so obvious, as I said before, between the island and our planet. And I think that's exactly the same question we should be asking ourselves right now. Because our planet, right now we're 7 billion people, but by 2050 we're expected to be 10 billion. And that, the growth will be three times in population, but we will need 8 times more natural resources, and we will emit 13 times more greenhouse gases. And the other thing is that we're in the United States, and we all want to become a developed country as the US, right? And we see that there's a linear relation between economic development and natural resources use. It's perfectly linear, I would say, if you see here. Most of our countries that are developing are right around here in the middle. So we all want to go up where Australia and the US is, but the planet can't stand that for everybody. And the real question is, how can we all grow, but in this part of the graph? So how can we decouple economic growth from the use of natural resources? Because right now, our planet cannot give us the resources we need. In fact, we are right now using 1.7 Earths. And if we keep business as usual, we will need 2.7 planet Earth. So it's not sustainable. And the funny thing is that, as I show you, we always need more resources. In order to grow, we need more and more natural and precious resources. But we also do this. We throw away valuable and finite resources, and we keep asking the Earth for more and more. And why is that? Because for 250 years, since the first Industrial Revolution, we are living in a linear economy based on take, make, and dispose. And that is no longer sustainable. And that is how it's creating huge effects on our Earth. One is climate change. Everybody knows that. We have the hottest 3 last years on record. And I want to tell you a little story from where I come from. I come from a really special place. It's called the Atacama Desert. I bet everybody has heard of it. A little town called Iquique in the north. And it's the driest desert in the world, 3 million years. And I don't know if you can imagine this next number, but it rains 0.01 inches per year. So it's nothing compared to, I think yesterday it rained more than in our history. But 2 months ago, on February 9th, something really weird happened. We received, and this is a webcam or a cell phone video, we received 12 years of rain in 3 hours. So everything is changing. This didn't happen for decades. A lot of water, a lot of water. Oh, sorry. So just in 3 hours, can you imagine that? We were not ready for this. And we will need to be ready for this because Chile is one of the countries that is most threatened by climate change. And we will get used to floods, extreme temperature, forest fires, droughts. And as the IPCC, the International Planet of Climate Change, says, we need to focus in living and not increasing more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. So we need unprecedented transitions and really quick changes. In fact, they must be so quick that if we want to not increase 1.5 degrees, we need to take our emissions to 0. And that as an engineer, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, I was wondering, how on earth can we do that? Is that even possible? So I need you here to remember 3 numbers. One is 5 degrees, 3 degrees, and 1.5 degrees Celsius. If we keep doing stuff like we do it right now, we're going directly to a planet hotter in 5 degrees Celsius. Otherwise, if we comply with the commitments of the the Paris Agreement, COP21, we can live in a 3 degrees hotter world. But the real goal should be 1.5 degrees. So again, as an entrepreneur, I ask myself, how can we do that? We're really clear how we can get to 3 degrees. We need to have a matrix of clean energy of 18% in the world. We need to comply with the national commitments of COP21. But the most important thing is how we get from 3 to 1.5. We're also pretty clear with the 50%. We need to go from 18% of clean energy to 44% all over the world. More energy efficiency and reforestation. But the really hard part was the next 50%. And that's how I discovered the circular economy. So the circular economy is the way we can get to a 1.5 degrees world. And what is the circular economy if you don't know? I told you it's the intersection of clean energies and advanced manufacturing, but it's an economic model that keeps the value of materials and products as long as possible and uses clean energy. And I will show you how in a few seconds. But I want to stress something. It's a great business opportunity also. Because if you understand how the world manages, if we have 92 gigatons of resources that are entering every year the economy, 10% is lost forever, 56% is waste, and 25% is long-term stocks like this building, airplanes, cars, etc. But right now, only 9% of all these resources circulates in our economy. 9%. And this came out in Davos in February, in the Circularity Gap report. It's super new, but the idea that I liked most is that the only way we can get a 1.5 degrees planet is in a circular planet. That's the only way. So right now we're getting closer to what we're saying. And maybe when you hear circular economy, you think about recycling. And that's the first idea I want to change in your mind. Recycling is important, but it's not circular economy. It's just the top of the iceberg. Below that, you have several other processes that are highly technologically intensive and require a new mindset. Repair, reuse, but the invitation is to reimagine the economic model. That's a real invitation. So it's particularly important to change the perspective of recycling because right now we're living in a recycling crisis. I don't know if you're familiar with the national sword policy from China, that from one day to another, China said, I don't want to import any more waste, plastic or paper or whatever, and they closed the doors, and they created a huge crisis. In fact, there's one from Massachusetts there. So just to show you what happened in just 1 year, this is what happened in China. Paper, what it meant when they closed the doors. Look at the thin layer of plastic. But as an entrepreneur, you are depressed with this or you see a business opportunity. And I like this news from the paper. And I think that's the right question you have to question yourself. Is there an opportunity with this crisis? And I said, definitely. This is the greatest opportunity for the circular economy, to pass from this linear model to the circular model, where you keep all the value, where you keep all the value of the process and the resources. And this you can get through really innovative business models that require technology and advanced manufacturing, circular supplies, shared platforms, and the one that I like the most is product as service. But for Chile and for some countries in Latin America, the greatest benefits are three: that you can create new businesses, you can create quality jobs, and you can fight climate change. So that's a huge opportunity for the world. There's a lot of evidence that the circular economy is a great business and you can get really great objectives. Especially Europe, it's pushing really hard on circular economy with these 3 reports that I really hope you can read. But the really interesting part is that we're sitting on a $4.5 trillion opportunity. And I will show you how this is done. But this is the way we have to think. I mean, it's a huge, huge business opportunity. The good news is that everything is being perfectly aligned right now, after 6 years that we're pushing this model. Organizations, especially with the Sustainable Development Goals, are pushing really hard internationally, speaking about circular economy. Then huge companies and medium enterprises are also really interested in the circular economy. And they are doing this because there's a huge business behind this. But most important, consumers are pushing the train. And there are some few data that I recovered. 92% are willing to pay or prefer a sustainable product over an unsustainable one. And the one that I really like is that 53% is willing to pay 10% more for a product that is sustainable. So that's why companies are really looking at what is happening with the circular economy. Another great news is that this report from the International Labour Organization says that the green economy, clean energies, can create 18 million new jobs. But they have this special chapter about circular economy, and it says specifically that in Latin America, it can create 6 million jobs. And you ask, why? Why specifically Latin America? And I did the research. And I found the reason. Because if you compare the waste generation between, for example, Europe, you see that there's no much difference between Europe and Latin America. And we're really close. Sadly, Chile is number 1, but we're really close to Italy, France, Spain. But when you compare the recycling rate, that's what makes us really, really, really sad. If you compare Europe, again, with Latin America, we're below 10%. So you can create a lot of jobs and a lot of new business opportunity just on this area. It's a huge, huge opportunity. So we say we have two options. Europe right now has a 40% recycling rate. With the circular economy package, they want to get to 75% on 2030. So we can keep with this recycling rate. Sadly, we're in 10%, and we can get to 75%, but like in 2100. So as the IPCC report said, we don't have time for that. What can we do? We can leapfrog directly from our linear economy in Chile and Latin America directly to the circular economy. So as I showed, a lot of northern countries are pushing this new model, new way of thinking, but we're really happy that in Latin America, Chile is really pushing hard on this with new laws that ban plastic bags, extended responsibility laws, and Corfo being a huge motor behind the circular economy. And you will hear more and more about what we're doing in our country. But it's, as I said before, it's a huge opportunity for Latin America because it's a special place. We are really rich in resources, forests, biodiversity, but especially mining. And this is the intersection I want to do with clean energies, because mining is key for our clean or low carbon future, because it's resources that we need for the clean energy. And especially for three: solar, wind, and batteries. We have resources that are strategic for these technologies. And for example, right now, we have 178 gigawatts of clean energy, from which 55% are solar. But on 2023, they're expected to grow to 1 terawatts, which 75% will be solar. So you ask yourself what this has to do with mining or with natural resources. Well, as you will see here, of all the copper demand by 2050, 39% will be solar, 36% will be for wind, and 4% for batteries. So where can we get these materials from if we shut down the mining, for example? So what we need to do now is that, and this is a real data that blew my mind, is for the last 5,000 years, we produce 550 million tons of copper. We need exactly the same amount in the next 25 years. And that means we need 8 times more mining. But that is also not sustainable. So how on earth can we do that? So organizations as the World Bank are really pushing hard on climate-smart mining that are supporting green mining. This is really important for Chile, ensuring supply for clean energies and minimizing environmental and materials problems or issues. I really encourage you to read this report. And it's really interesting how a really mature industry right now is focusing on these issues. And they are clearly saying that circular economy, it's key for a sustainable and green mining. That's really going to transform what we're doing in Chile. Another great report, and look at the title, The Growing Role of Minerals for Our Low Carbon Future, says the same. If you want to move from a 5 degrees world to a 1.5 degrees world, you will need to increase exponentially the use of natural resources, not just copper, the same for lithium, and the same for most of all the natural resources I know of. So it's a really interesting phenomenon that is occurring. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but a 3 mega wind turbine uses 4 to 12 times more copper per kilowatt and uses all these resources. So if we want to fill the world with wind turbines, we need more natural resources. The same for cars. Tesla, we all love Teslas. But in 2035, we are expected to have 21% of the cars electric. But these are all the resources. I bet you don't remember half from chemistry classes. I didn't. And as I said, we need more mining, but it won't be enough. Right now, in 1 ton of minerals, we only get 5 grams of gold, 200 grams of silver, 8 kilograms, or 6 kilograms of copper. In 1 ton of used cell phones, you can get this. So urban mining is a huge trend that will intersect also with the needs of natural resources. In fact, I don't know if you're aware, but Tokyo Olympics, all the medals are going to be made out of e-waste. So it's a huge, huge trend that you should start looking at. So the idea I want to show is that the first and second industrial revolution had the linear economic model. The third industrial revolution had the recycling economy. And we have no doubt that the fourth industrial revolution will be circular, definitely. And that's why it will intersect. And that's a great opportunity for a country like Chile. We were talking earlier about Industry 4.0. It's a great opportunity to access to new technologies, to new knowledge, and to create new business opportunities. And that's something that we are doing as a company, and I will show you next. So again, just to stress the idea, we cannot talk about circular economy without fourth industrial revolution or Industry 4.0. One provides purpose, and the Industry 4.0 activates and gives the technology that allows you to create new business models. And that's exactly what we are doing, and this is skin in the game for the ones that have read Nassim Taleb. So we are, as I told you, right in the driest desert in the world. Neptuno Pumps is our company. And all these little dots are mine sites. So we're in a really special place. But specifically, talking about copper, we are surrounded by the first and second biggest copper producers in the world. In fact, in the next 5 years, we have $120 billion of investment. But if that's not enough, we have this little amazing triangle called the lithium triangle, where we have 85 to 75% of all the reserves of lithium in the world. So just in our neighborhood, we have 2 of the most strategic natural resources for clean energies in the world. And Chile has 52% of the lithium. So how can we become circular and at the same time have all these great resources? And I think you can do it in the middle of the mining industry, and that's what we're doing. We are an Industry 4.0. We have been 3D printing for 25 years. We have advanced manufacturing technologies. We design, simulate, all kinds of stuff. And we design and manufacture pumps, but not any pump, industrial pumps, huge. Really huge pumps. And the fluids are so aggressive and corrosive that we need to use aerospatial materials for its applications. So we are all over the world with our projects, in Peru, US, Colombia, Argentina, a lot in Chile. And we are really, really, really happy with this. But we saw an opportunity that no one was seeing, and was that nobody was doing anything when the life cycle of the product was ending. So we started to gather data and saw that all the waste that our product was generating was like 400 tons per month in any mine site. So we said, what can we do with that? I mean, we need to be responsible of all this. And we said, okay, let's walk the talk, and let's move from our linear model, raw materials, foundry, manufacturing, and then waste. Let's incorporate circularity by recycling, remanufacturing, maintenance. But most important, and this is also a really important idea, everything starts in the design stage. That's the most important part of the process, where you take all the responsibility to say, I will design with materials that are 100% recyclable, and my product will be 100% repairable. Not like the iPhone, for example. And just to show you what we do, this is the music, you can turn it off if you want it. but I will show you how all these huge pumps, they were throwing it away like they mean nothing and full of really great resources. And this is how they came. So what we did is we designed it in a way that is easily dismantleable. And we start seeing what can we reuse and what can become resources. So for example, these parts that are no good for the energy efficiency, we destroy them and we put it back in the process in our own foundry. So we are vertically integrated. We have all the processes under one same roof. So the great stuff for our business is when you do this is you consume 60% less energy and you reduce 70% of your emissions. So it's a win-win scenario. So you see there with the same material, you can create new products and components, and you close the circle, and you reduce 75% of the waste of your consumers or your customers. So there you see this new component enters again to the process, and you create growth, you create local employment, and innovation. I will cut it here. So we were really happy that the world started to recognize us. We won 3 Innovation of the Year awards in the UK, 1 National Innovation Award in Chile. And one interesting thing is that the World Economic Forum awarded us as pioneers in Latin America for the circular economy. And can you imagine that a company, a family-owned company with 150 employees can be next to Jaguar, Unilever, Caterpillar? And that's the message. The world is eager for this kind of success stories, of really small with new business model companies. So that is the invitation for the entrepreneurs. So just to make you an idea, what is the impact of what we're doing? In Chile, we consume 40,000 liters per second of drinkable water. Our projects right now are pumping and recycling water 75,000 liters per second. We've saved 11,000 tons of CO2 in our projects, and sometimes you don't know how much is that. So I try to make you this much easier. That is 1,000 tons of CO2 each year with our projects in circular economy. And we've saved $50 million for our customers each year with these projects. And to tell you that this is not just like rainbows and everything is great, this is business. We've increased our sales 25 to 30% year by year. We've increased jobs, local jobs, 15% per year. We reduced, as I told you, 60% our energy consumption and reduced 75% our waste generation. So it's a win-win situation. And just to start closing, this is not just resources. This is technology. And we see in IoT, in the Internet of Things, a huge opportunity. I really encourage you to read also this report from Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And the interesting thing is that you can redefine, for example, maintenance and monitoring. But we're not happy just to be there. We also see in blockchain a huge opportunity for 100% traceability and for components to talk to each other. And that is exactly what we're doing in a new company we created in Chile. But I put this first because we're so lucky to saw the birth of the Internet of Information. And right now we're seeing the birth of the Internet of Value through blockchain. That we need to see the opportunities that are opening in front of us. And that is exactly what we're doing with this new company. It's NDX, Neptuno Digital Transformation. So we're really interested in artificial intelligence, IoT, big data, machine learning, creating circular products and materials. New materials are key for us, operating circular models and optimizing circular infrastructure. And the model that we are following is linking the circular economy, Internet of Things, by measuring and creating all the data from our products with all the benefits that I show you, but linking through blockchain and guaranteeing our customer that we're doing the right thing with the circular economy And what we like to call, it's the new Internet of Materials. We can guarantee our customers 100% traceability and to show them that we are not creating waste and we're creating value with the final product they are giving us back. And one really interesting document that it's really interesting to read also is the circular economy and artificial intelligence, that you see all the benefits that it can create. In this report, they were focused on food industry and electronics. But right now, what we're doing is to take all these mature industries as our foundry and mixing it with artificial intelligence in order to create new materials for these highly abrasive and corrosive fluids that we are pumping or the mineral is passing through. So it's, when you think circular, everything starts to change. And you see opportunities everywhere when you mix it with technology. And just to finish, I met Janez Potocnik from the International Resource Panel, and I love this quote. Is you don't have to wait for the government, from leaders to tell you have to go this way. You have to become leaders from any place you are, government, entrepreneurs, anything. And that's opportunity with the circular economy. Because we don't have time. These are pictures we see every day. And we always think, oh, this won't happen in my house or in my country or in my region. But 2 months ago, we took this picture in the driest desert in the world. And this is what's already happening. It's poor animals doing nests with plastic. So it's happening all over the world. And this quote from Victor Hugo, I think, applies perfectly for what we're looking now. And it's nothing more powerful than an idea that time has arrived. And I think the time of the circular economy has arrived. It's the mixture of clean energy and advanced manufacturing, and it's an opportunity for everybody all around the world. So thank you very much.